Since now we know what is a centralized RAN, let's look at what is a vRAN, right? So vRAN stand for virtualized RAN, also sometimes known as cloud RAN. So if you look at what a centralized RAN architecture, we have created a BBU hotel and place the BBUs in the BBU hotel, right? So we basically shift the BBU from all the remote sites and keep it in a centralized location and extended the front hole network, right? So what we do in a virtualized RAN environment is basically replace these purpose built hardware, right? So these all are purpose built for a BBU into what we call as a COT server, right? Kind of a generalized server, a generic server, and run the BBU functions as a VM on top of a hypervisor, right? So this COT server will have an hypervisor and you run the BBU functions on top of this COT server as a VMs. So since this is generic hardware, we basically use some features there, right? We make sure that there's some capabilities that is supported in this hardware since we were already using a purpose built hardware, which kind of a monolithic hardware, but now we have replaced it with a COD server. So one of the things that you always make sure is that these servers have different accelerator support, right? So it will allow you to basically map the VM NIC directly to the physical NIC of the server, and also you will make sure that your switches in these BBU hotels has support for PTP and SINGI because you have extended your front door network towards your BBU and has replaced the purpose-built hardware that had all these capabilities with the generic server. So you need to make sure that your environment, the BBU environment has switches that support PTP and SINKI, and also the servers, the COD servers has support such as the performance NIC or smart NIC, right? So this is the main difference between a distributed RAN architecture where you will have a RRH and BBU in the cell site. In a centralized architecture, you basically shift the BBU towards a BBU hotel and extend the front door network. And in a virtualized RAN or a cloud RAN architecture, you replace the purpose-built hardware and replace it with a COD server where you will have a hypervisor and run the BBU functions as a VMs. In the 5G architecture, we will have something known as NG RAN that we will talk about in a later session.